Hi guys, so today I'm really excited to do some marbling with watercolors and inks. So before we begin, I'll just show you a couple of examples of ones that I've done in the last couple of weeks. So this is the first one that I did a few weeks ago, and I was just really experimenting with if this idea would work. And so I've used, you can see here the inks that I've used. I'll try and show you the gold there. And then my second one, and so this was my second attempt. Let's see if I can. So I haven't quite finished this page, but hopefully you can kind of see there. So those are the kind of two examples side by side, and basically I've used a whole bunch of inks. Let me see here. So this is the yellow ink. We have the Dr. P.H. Martin's, the gold Winsor & Newton ink, an Ecoline one. This is the smoky grey, and then we have the Dr. P.H. Martin's 1R silver. Basically those are the inks that I've kind of used, and for this one, and then on this one I used some watercolors. So today I think we'll just go over a couple of we'll just use probably watercolors, and we will talk about how I did these. Okay, so for this example we will use this Canson watercolor paper from Walmart. Okay, so let's get into it. So I should mention as well, this is in the Hahnemuller sketchbook. It's an A5 sketchbook, and this one is I think Archer's watercolor paper in the large kind of art journal that I showed, and how I made this on the channel the other week. Okay, so I'm thinking today we'll do like a blue coloration for this one, some pastel powder blues and some darker blues, so we'll see how we go with that. So as far as the paper goes and the kind of how to design the marble kind of pattern, I just start with kind of a triangular shape here, like a, an angle here, and then we kind of add some extra lines in around that, and then an angle over here. So what we'll do here is we'll just start how I start with kind of this angle here, and we'll work in the middle of it, and we'll work in here. So we're basically looking to create kind of a concentric triangles or shapes around each other with thick and thin lines. I don't think I explained that very well, so let me just kind of give you an example here. We're going to do sort of a triangle, sort of an angle on this side with another couple inside it, and then like a little kind of teardrop shape in the middle, and then we're going to add in little extra kind of lines here, and then on the other side I like to do another kind of triangle shape. It's kind of a very loose, so a similar thing here with another little, and then maybe something up the side with some kind of shapes here, and then possibly sort of something as well coming down from here like this. So that is the kind of thing, that's kind of the basis of how I do the pages. So the really nice thing about this, and I've changed my water bowl because I was pretty tired after I did the last transparent watercolors, and I actually dropped it and broke it. So we have a new water, a new water holder. But alright, let's get into this. So the thing about the marbling is that it's a really nice way to see the paper move to see the watercolor move on the paper, and to kind of try out your pigments and things like that. Okay, so what we are going to do, and I'll just pick this up so that hopefully you can see. We're going to wet really roughly. This is kind of in no particular order, but we just want the paper sort of glistening like this, and then we're just creating this little, and just sort of make it to how you think that will look nice. And then we're going to pick a colour. So I'm going to pick, this is the Sleeping Beauty, I think, is that it? Sleeping Beauty by, Sleeping Beauty Turquoise by Daniel Smith. And it's just a beautiful colour. When you get it really softly, it goes to just this really, really beautiful powder blue. So I'm going to use this. And just kind of getting this into the water here. Okay. Now I want to make another little sort of another really little area of it. So if you choose a colour that's not very, that doesn't disperse well, then you just kind of help it along as well. So that's fine. And alright. Now in the middle here, I think I'm going to add, let's go with cobalt blue. Oh, so I'm going to add a little section here of cobalt blue, and then I am going to add a little bit of cobalt blue right into this, so just into the edges here, and let that kind of feed up into, I think I'm using manganese here. I'm just adding something in to kind of let that sort of melt in with the other. I might even add a little bit of that in here with the cobalt blue, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of, what's that, kyanite as well, just to give that a little bit of depth in there. And so now I'm going to add, so you can see this is still wet. Now I am going to add some, let's see, so then you just start to build up some layers. So you want some really thin layers of a darker colour, and then you want some sort of sparkling colours as well. So what we will do is we'll add some of this silver, 1R silver, and we will also add some dark colours in here. So basically I'm just pulling this through, letting it touch. And then, so I'm not really going through the whole thing. I'm just kind of picking out points that where I want it to go. Now I'm going to get the silver, and so this is my first time using the blue, and I probably would have let the other color dry as well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in, because I don't really want it bleeding in that much, but I'm going to go in with some silver here, and I'm going to just cover that in a little bit. And just create some like silver kind of just to break that up. and kind of blend it a little bit. So, you know, take away those blooms. Like I didn't really want the blooms to be that pronounced. So what I'm going to do is leave this and probably then go back over the dark blue there. Okay, so we have that there. Now we start on a couple of others. So I'm going to do one just up here. And again, this is fairly haphazard. It's just kind of you look at it and see where you think it would look good. So I'll start with that Sleeping Beauty turquoise. You can start with any turquoise that you have, or any, you know, obviously any color. So I'm just kind of trying this out. Then I want another little bit here. And the more kind of random that you do these, the more kind of natural that it looks as well. So here you can see, I'm going to just do this. Okay. Then I'm going to go back in with the cobalt blue in here. And a little bit in here too. So I'm going to do a bit of like a deep blue here. And because I didn't really want that all bleeding in, I'm going to actually just wait and so I'm going to just wait because I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit and then we'll work on some other layers in here. I don't know if you can see here this is sparkling. Okay. While we're waiting for this to dry, let's just do the silver kind of backdrop. So all I did for that was wet the area that I want it to cover. And I kind of worked in smallish sections, so if you have a larger brush, you know, you can probably cover more area, but I just do about that. Do about that much, and then I'm just dropping the silver color into the water. And that should dry fairly evenly. So get some more of the silver. Get some more water, and we should be able to finish this off. So here you can see, hopefully, the sparkle and the shimmer there, and that should dry really nicely. So let's just go back here, and I'm going to add some manganese blue in between here, and the kind of whole thing of this is to start with one lighter color and then build up a few different sort of colors in between. So gradually sort of go to some darker colors with some more fine strokes. So here's a good example of where you can see if you don't want, so for example, cobalt blue is a very, see this color's just dispersing straight away. So if you don't want that to happen, then you either want to wait till it's dry, or you know, use a color that's not necessarily going to be so flow so much, have so much flow. But you also, you know, might want those soft edges, so it really depends. So let's go back in here with a little bit of kyanite. And you can use like thinner brushes if that works for you as well. You don't have to use, I'm using an Escoda Reserva number 6, but you don't certainly have to use that. Just whatever feels comfortable for you to make the kind of marks and things. So I'm thinking I might want to, I'm just going to see how this goes. I'm not really sure. So there you have it. Hopefully you can see the sparkle in that. And that is how I am creating these kind of marble watercolor and ink based. And you can keep playing with it. You could leave it and kind of keep increasing those layers and increasing the sort of the values and the depth in it, but I have just been enjoying just doing this sort of 15 minutes and you have kind of a marbled piece of watercolor. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. So the other thing I wanted to say was I have a tutorial coming up on how to make some place settings for Christmas and, you know, Thanksgiving. We've got all those exciting holidays coming up, so I am going to do a tutorial for you on how to make some watercolor place settings. And I just did this one, so if you haven't seen the royal wedding, it was so beautiful. So this is Princess Eugenie's plate, the wedding commemorative plates that they have released, which are really beautiful. And yeah, I have just been working on templates and things like that, so I'll see you soon with that kind of a tutorial.